like that, don't you?
Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eichenberry in real life, and welcome to another Friday Night Live show, the Marky Dragon Show. Tonight we've got a special guest that's going to join us for the first hour, and maybe longer, maybe less, just depends. His name is Jerry Hopper, and he has been running a site that is for the release of Ivan and Martin. And it's helpivanmartin.org, and you can actually find a link to it in the description. And so I'd like to, now Jerry does not have a webcam, but he is here via Skype on voice. Jerry, say hello to everyone.
Hello everyone. My name is Jerry Hopper, and thank you for being invited here.
So, Jerry, I asked you on the show because I came across your website that was to help bring to light, what's going on with Ivan and Martin. And can you tell me, well, first off, how does this relate to video games?
Well, it's a long story. Let's try to keep it short. Ivan Buchta is actually the lead designer at project lead at ARMA3. It's a big game, so it's about video games. Mm-hmm. His colleague Martin Peslar, he also works at Bohemia Interactive, and he does level design, and that's also about games. Well, these guys went to Greece, and there they got arrested. That's the real short version.
Right. Okay. So, and they're video game developers, which is where, I got the initial interest in this. Just somebody who's being jailed by a foreign government. I'm not so sure that I would, pay much attention to that. But given that these guys are in the video game industry, it caught my attention. Now, they. What was it that these guys were doing that got them arrested?
Well, do you want the story that the Greek newspaper said, or probably the story that is closest to the truth?
Well, I guess I want the truth, but if there is something of interest to what other people are saying, then we could share that too.
Well, the first newspaper that brought the news was Lesvos News. That's a Greek newspaper, and they posted that 2 Czech people were spying, making pictures of military installations, and they were arrested and charged of espionage. Well, there's a big nuance to the story, because there's no background information here on what happened actually. After this news post, a few more news posts came out, which boldened the story, like they were spies, they got spy equipment and all that kind of stuff. So this is the news what came out shortly, with no real source and details. The real story is this. Ivan Buchta, he was at the Gamescom this year, and after the Gamescom he planned a vacation with his wife. His wife is pregnant, and at the moment they were about to go on a vacation, they went to the doctor and they asked, "Hey, is it okay for me to go fly or travel?" And that was not really recommendable. So Ivan was there. He already bought the tickets, and he went to. I guess it went like this, but he went to his colleagues, asked somebody out that eventually was Martin Peslar, and with him he went on vacation. So it's a real vacation. That's the biggest misunderstanding here, because on most news websites you don't hear these details.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So that's the beginning of the story. On 9th September they were arrested. They were thrown in jail. I had an interview with Marek Spanel. They also heard on that same day they were arrested because Ivan could make a phone call, and he all said it was a misunderstanding and it probably would work out. But eventually, well, they're here now 90 days. They're jailed, and the problem in in Greece right now is there are big strikes, and so the legal system is also on strike, and this is the biggest problem of the case.
Oh, so the whole legal system's on strike, and so that's holding up not just their case, but a lot of others as well.
Correctly, and this is why it took a very long time before the big news took attention of this case, because it took, I think, about 60 days before the first appeal was denied, and that's when the real news came out. What can I say? Two guys going to a Greek island making pictures just from vegetation. They were not there to make pictures for ARMA. But you can imagine that if you have worked on ARMA for about, well, I think 2, 3, maybe more years, virtually, that if you be there, you make nice pictures of the surroundings. And if you look at the size of Lemnos Island, well, if you're traveling and standing on top of a hill or something, it's very likely that you can shoot a picture with something unwanted in the scenery in the back. So the story is very blown out of proportions with the charge of espionage.
So now, would it be now ARMA is like a military warfare game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so could that be part of why they were looked at so closely with the pictures that they were taking? Isn't there? I don't know, but I'm not so familiar with ARMA, but I was told that it's also used as a military simulation.
Correct. Well, ARMA has a long history. Back in 2000, I think Andrei Spanel and Marek Spanel, the big, the bosses of the company, they created a game engine or an engine called Real Virtuality, and that has been growing to what ARMA is now. But it also has been grown to VBS2 to be specific. It's a military-grade simulator which is being used by the Dutch Army, by the US Army. Recently, the US Army had some big, order, and I think VBS2 got it. I think it was a month or two ago. I don't know the details because I don't really look at VBS, aside from the fact that I know it's based on the ARMA or the Real Virtuality engine. And yes, well, some people might connect these dots to guys going to Greece and this military-grade simulator, which, well, could be used by any military, of course.
Right. Well, it could be used by anybody who's got $50 to buy the game.
Yeah, you can say that, but legally it's not possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, of course, if you're in the desert somewhere with 25 guys, you can probably do that. I don't know where you get the power to, run all these PC in the middle of the desert. But no, like in the United States wouldn't do that. It's just not legal. So.
Mm-hmm. So now have you been able to have any communication whatsoever with the guys in jail?
Yeah, of course I did. It took me a while. At 9 September they were arrested, and I heard quite late, I think maybe 12 September, I heard about that it was actually Ivan. Immediately I went looking for information. The Help Ivan and Martin.org website was set up by Sickboy. You probably know him from the 6 updater, and if you don't, it's an ARMA thing.
Yeah.
These guys, he did a website together with Wolle, and Wolle is a moderator on the Bohemia forums. He's in no way really related with Bohemia Interactive as with the game ARMA3, but he's just a moderator. And they pulled me in a Skype chat, and together we made a front, and we did our best to get information, and eventually we got in contact with the lawyer. the Greek lawyer actually, and through him we got the address of the jail where they're residing right now.
Mm-hmm. And now I saw on your website that you had a letter from them.
Yeah, correct. Several actually.
Oh, okay.
But we cannot post public on request of Ivan himself, but also, well, Marek. I had an interview with him, and well, it's his privacy, you know. If somebody sends a letter to me, it's a letter to me.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, we asked Ivan to put a statement for the whole community, and that resulted in a letter, which you can see on helpivanmartin.org. It's probably the second news post from the top, and there he actually thanks you guys, the people who send a postcard through our website, for their support, because they've been there for now 90 days, and yeah, it's hard. They read a lot. They walk around in the yard. They express in the card in the letter. They expressed about they walked hundreds of kilometers. Well, you can imagine if you're sitting there 90 days and nothing to do, it's really boring. So any outside touch is a welcome surprise for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that if you're the creative type, which those guys probably are, that they're probably having a very hard time being confined and to not have a lot of things available to them.
Correct.
Yeah.
They actually ask us to send information from mothers, projects that are going on, and those are not only ARMA projects, because there's this. I'm not really into it, but there's some websites, some starter websites, startups.
Like Kickstarter?
Kickstarter, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Even loved it, and especially the new independent game stuff that pop up there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're also sending them bulletins with game stuff from that website from Kickstarter, just to keep them informed on what's going on in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they yeah, I could see that. Every little bit they probably savor.
Yeah, correct. And although conditions are not real harsh, they sleep on the ground, on a mattress, sometimes on a bunk bed. They change sometimes because there's not enough bunk beds available. There are 25 people in a cell. It's
Wow.
drafty, so there is a window, but it's broken. Well, they seem to holding out quite good, but you can imagine that if you would be stuck for a week in such a place, you would go nuts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, even for a couple of days. Yeah, I've never been incarcerated, so I don't know what it's like, but I could just imagine.
Well, I can confess now that I've been in 2 days in a police cell, but it was not serious eventually. But the thing that is really annoying there, that there's no contact with the outside world, and any contact from the outside world is welcome and is really boosting your being there, you know. And that's also why I started the postcard service, because I know it must be nasty. And well, we're printing all these postcards out. Probably we have printed about 800 postcards, and I'm going to ask if people keep them coming. We have to filter them on certain contents, but you should keep sending these postcards. If you make something, if you like a game, if you just have a joke to tell, send them a postcard on postcard.helpivanmartin.org.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm showing the video right now that you provided me of the postcards, and it's a good way to keep in contact with them and to show them the support. That would be one thing that for me would be hard, not knowing whether or not anybody even knows or what other people think. And such, and just having something like that would really boost my spirits. Yeah,
we got I got a letter from Ivan a few weeks ago, where he wrote like, yeah, there's some good thing coming up because there's a date and you know when the judges would decide, and he was kind of real positive. And on the date that I got the letter, it was the actual judgment day, and the appeal got denied. And while reading that, I was like, oh man, no. So immediately I looked around again and printed stuff and started going because it's a crazy situation, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
really a crazy situation. I mean, if you're being there, making a mistake by photographing something or videotaping something by accident, um, this is just too harsh, you know. Give these guys a fine, make them persona non grata or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
this is just crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, exclude them from the country or something like that, you know, something that I guess makes the Greek government feel better, but also um, treats the situation for what it really is.
Yeah.
So, what is the current status right now of these guys?
Um, Actually, today the second appeal has been filed. I've been talking to the lawyer yesterday for a few details. Well, he couldn't give me anything more, beside the fact that in about a month there will be a ruling on this second appeal. Um, well, the Czech government seems to be busy as some European, um, some European Parliament group or something, some Czech Parliament group. Um, Expressed their feelings and their worries inside the European Parliament. So there is some political pressure. If that really helps, we don't know because it's up to the judges. What I do know is that the judges is a different set of judges than the last time.
Hmm.
So that might be positive.
Yeah. So, would you be interested in allowing some of our viewers to call in and ask questions?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so lines are open right now. If you want to call in, Skype is Marky Dragon, and for this segment, it will be just audio only. But feel free to call in now and ask Jerry what's on your mind. So, I think that do you know if something like this has happened before? You know, people innocent just taking some pictures. Has this happened in Greece before? Do you know?
Yeah, many times.
Oh, many times.
But with gamers, I don't recall. This is, I think, the first with gamers, or
Hmm.
at least game developers. But back in 2000, I think 2001. Um, I remember this because there was a Dutch minister who got involved eventually. I think there were 8 English airplane spotters and 2 Dutch airplane spotters. They were also on Limnos, and there was an air show, or I don't know if it was Limnos or Greece.
Hmm.
Please, I don't know for sure, but there was an air show. And they were invited, and they went there making pictures of the airplanes and stuff. And eventually, they got arrested, and they got convicted, and they got sentenced for I think 2 or 2.5 years before they got released.
Wow.
There was also a big political, well, I think a big political riot because our Dutch Minister of Defense was, being involved, or trying to be involved. But eventually they sat for 2.5 years.
Hmm.
So
What
it's not looking positive.
what do you think would be the impact on ARMA 3 if they were in jail long term?
I think zero, aside from the fact that the promotional project I was, I was arranging with Ivan, it won't be there, as well as other promotional activities because people might have noticed Arma 3. There's not much promotional stuff anymore. There's not much tweets on the official Twitters or Facebook. So, well, Arma 3 will come out maybe a little bit later, but well, I'm used to that. I think. Yeah, they say December, and then well, it probably will be next year. I don't know, but it doesn't matter for me. I will wait for the game. but Arma will be there, and the fact that they went on vacation after the games convention, people have seen a working Arma 3 underwater and on the island. The material, everything is there already. If for whatever reason Ivan would made shots of anything on the island, it would be the smaller things, like stones, rocks, borders. I don't know, those kind of things, close up from plants or things. That would be the thing they would be able to do something in the game. But the rough terrain, the objects and stuff, it's already there, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, let's see here. It doesn't look like anybody has any questions. I think that we have covered the whole issue pretty succinctly. Now, what is it that we, the viewers, and myself, is there anything that we can do to help?
Yeah, on the helpivanmartin.org website, you can. There's a button how to help. You can send letters to European Parliament members. You can send, of course, a postcard. But if you're like creative and you think, well, I want to make something. Last week we got a chess game sent in PDF. We just had to cut it and print it, or print it and cut it and send it. That stuff you can do too. So we've been thinking about a fundraiser. I don't know if it's going too far, but we'll not be doing that.
Well, I guess let me ask: Are they their lawyer that's been assigned to them in Greece? Are they having to pay for that lawyer? Do you know?
No, not really. But yeah, normally you should pay for a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
But Marek told me in an interview I did with him that everything is that's cool. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it means, but it's covered.
Okay.
And I can imagine that because Marek wouldn't say what he did to back them up, but I can imagine that Marek would somehow help them in any way. I can
Mm-hmm.
imagine Ivan can pay his own lawyer, but any extra would be helpful, and I think they do that. The BI guys stick together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, okay. Well, Jerry, I want to thank you very much for being on the show.
No problem.
And I want to encourage everybody who's watching. There's a link in the description to go check it out. These are fellow video game people here. So if there's anything that we can do, we will. And Jerry, keep up the good work.
May I add one last thing?
Sure, sure.
There's one thing you should remember. This could happen to anybody. If you're on a Greek island and make images of something, well, maybe they don't blow it out to this proportion of espionage, but it's a different cookie here in Greece. You get arrested real quick. It could happen to you, and that's really the point we're trying to make here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I guess it's a no picture zone.
Yeah.
So, maybe I would think twice about taking my camera with me to Greece.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, Jerry, thanks again, and I will send a lot of people your way to the website, and keep us up to date there. And we wish Ivan and Martin all of the best. And thank you very much for coming on the show.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so, he's very correct. This is definitely something that could happen to any of us. And, we have all been at one point or another wrongly accused of something, even if it was just by your parents, saying, I know you did it and you didn't, or that it, something with the law. I have been on the side of the law where, I got pulled over one time, and it was they accused us of forging the tags on our car, when it just turned out that the DMV actually wrote down the serial number wrong, and but it was a big problem, and anyway, thanks again, Jerry, and all of you. Check out the link in the description, and take it from there. Okay, so now let's change up the subject a little bit here. Let's talk about, I'm open to your calls, and let's talk about something else here, something that I'm noticing is a trend. And that trend is Sandbox MMOs. So with Sandbox MMOs, you know, we've got like the ultimate sandbox game, which is Minecraft. But then we've got other games that are on the horizon, like Greedmonger and Project Universe, or Universe Projects, may I say. And, you know, those are, it's us going to make them into what they are. And I find that very, very fascinating, and whether or not it can be pulled off. So, okay, let's go ahead and take some calls. And let's see here. Okay, it is the Buzzsaw. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Let me change up my screen here to... oh, looks like you got video. You've got a nice clear camera there, too.
I do. It's a Logitech. It's wonderful.
Yeah, so let me add that in here. You are the prize winner, the first person on camera on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So don't get too excited. The prize is virtual.
Oh, dang it. It's okay.
Yeah, so, okay. Just getting it done up here. And let's see here. Okay. Now, I guess that... There we go. Okay. Oh, and look at that. You just went into widescreen. Okay. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be on. I've been watching for a while, so looking for an opportunity. So
good, good. So, Mr. the Buzzsaw.
You can call me Buzz. That's what I'm calling in real life. So.
Okay, Buzz. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a gamer like everyone else here, but I'm actually an aspiring game developer. I've been programming since I was about 8 years old. Just ever since my parents got a computer, I've been wanting to hack at it and make games. And you know, I've played games that didn't even have a UI, like they only ran in the console and the green screen and stuff like that. And so I've been a gamer / programmer all my life, and just I'm a big fan of RPGs and MMOs in particular. And so trying to find my niche.
Yeah. So what's on your mind tonight?
Well, you brought up Sandbox MMOs. I'm very passionate about the topic of MMOs because I've noticed a trend recently, and that is specifically that MMOs are losing that world aspect. That is, in my opinion, what makes a good MMO is the fact that you can log in and affect the world, you know? And that doesn't necessarily mean terraforming. You know, Minecraft is obviously a popular example. It's not technically an MMO, but it's a wonderful example of a game where you can enter and make an effect on the world, you know? What I do that day will affect how you play when you log into that server the next time, you know, because you'll log in and be like, oh, who built this skyscraper right here, you know, and why is this lava river, you know, blocking my path kind of stuff.
And who destroyed my house?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, but the trend I've noticed is that, like, again, a game doesn't necessarily have to be about terraforming. It could be about, you know, political control. It could be about, you know, something you've done to change how the experience is for other players. Because one thing I've noticed too is you'll hear a lot of players say, like, you know, oh, I hate playing with other people. I want to play alone. And you're like, what? Why do you want to play an MMO then? You know, go play a single player RPG. But I've actually sat back and thought about it, and I kind of agree with the sentiment in some ways, but it depends on the game. You know, for example, you know, I'm sure you can play Ultima Online by yourself. You don't have to. You don't have to play in a group if you don't want to. But that's very different than, for example, the upcoming Elder Scrolls Online. I listen to interviews about that game, and all they do is talk about stuff like, oh, it's going to be completely instanced. You can play by yourself, and the game is all about you, and all the stuff he describes.
That's like
I'm
a single-player game played online.
Exactly. It's like watch your friends play single-player games.
One of the beautiful things about playing an MMO is the fact that it is world changing, and things happen that no one is expecting. Right. And so, you can have a massive effect on other people, maybe not even knowing it.
Right.
When you divert that lava through a few houses. Or,
yeah.
And to me, that is stuff that is unscripted, that could never happen in a single-player game.
Yep.
And if it did, everybody would say how insane those programmers were that they allowed the lava to destroy my house.
Yeah.
And through that conflict and everything is how we actually end up with new content.
Right.
And with struggles. And everything. And so now I don't think that one of these games can be completely freeform. Minecraft all the time, if you didn't put any controls in different areas, of who has control of what area, there'd be always people coming over and destroying your stuff.
Yeah.
So there has to be some sort of control, but I do want to log in and find something cute like my house is full of water.
Yeah.
or somebody, put candles around my roof,
or even something along the lines where you work towards a common goal. Like maybe you all live really in this really tight city, and you log in each day to help build the walls. Yeah, because like there's a mudslide coming, and you need to build the the sandbags, or something where you cooperate, and you're happy to see other people log in. You're like, oh man, I need some help. Thanks. Let's do this, and you don't have to worry about levels, and you don't have to worry about this other stuff. It's just a world to experience, and I think that's something we've really lost. I think you put it best too, that we hold the hands of our players too much, and guide them through a nice, safe, clean experience, and it's like we're too afraid to let anything bad happen to them. We're too afraid to give one quest to one player but not to another, because that's unfair, and that kind of thing. But like you said, player-driven content. That's what we need more of, and that's kind of half the reason I'm in the game industry in the first place. So.
So how do you feel about a question of whether or not there should be character levels, levels of like in World of Warcraft there's levels. In Ultima Online there's not. I mean, you get skill points that are assigned to something. You hit Grandmaster or whatever, but should characters have levels in a sandbox MMO?
It's a hard question to answer. It's yes and no. You do need some sense of progression. You do need to feel like your time invested was worth something, so that you can say, hi, welcome to the game. I'm a veteran, and this is my mark of being a veteran. But I draw the line at, I'm level 80 and I do level 80 content, and you can't join me because you're level 1. That's where it gets pointless. That's why I think Minecraft is perfect. It's my mark of being a veteran is my huge castle and my loot and stuff. But if you come in as a newcomer, there's nothing stopping from me handing you a shovel and a pickaxe and say, hey, come help me dig, let's do this together. So again, I believe in the rank, but I don't believe in the whole exclusionary system where it's I'm level this, you're level that, we can't play together.
So, are you currently working in the video game industry, or are you studying, or?
I'm doing indie. I'm done with college, so I just work, and I just kind of do indie development kind of in the evenings and on my free time. I don't have any particular interest in entering the game industry, because it's a very grueling market with excessive hours, and I don't want to work for a publisher, and I'd rather make my own stuff. So admittedly my stuff is more hobbyish at the moment, but I'm fighting hard to get in, because I do know C++ and a lot of other technologies really, really well. So
Okay, well, Buzz, thank you for your 2 cents on Sandbox MMOs. And
Thank you for having me. Yep.
Yep. Thank you for calling.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that well, one, lines are available, and two is that I can't wait for a game that could be Minecraft MMO style, massive multiplayer Minecraft. Ooh, 3 M's. Oh, maybe that would be MMMC. So, yeah, I think that that is what I am looking for next, and what could, a truly unique game like that could break the barrier of this, or break the stronghold that World of Warcraft has on the MMO market. And so I am looking forward to that. Okay, let's take another caller here. Let's see here. Hello, you're on the Marky Dragon Show. So, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name.
Alan.
Adam?
Alan.
Alan, okay. And Alan, do you have headphones? Or can you turn off the audio on the stream that you're listening to?
Yes.
Okay. So, Alan, do you have video, or are you just audio only?
Video.
You do have video?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go ahead and turn it on?
I think it was.
Oh,
One second.
I don't see it. Yeah. All I see is your picture there. Yeah. Okay, well, if it turns on while we're talking, I'll switch the camera view. So, Alan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. I'm calling from Eastern Europe. I'm basically a person who does animation, mostly.
Oh, okay.
My time. And I'm a gamer, like any other player around here. And it really was interesting to know about the Sandbox MMO that you talked about before. And what can I say about the Sandbox MMO is that there are a lot of MMOs that hardly ever noticed from USA. For example, the French MMOs like Dofus or Wakfus aren't even mentioned in the USA.
Mm-hmm. I actually have heard of them, but maybe that's just because I'm in the industry. And so, are those Sandbox MMOs?
In some ways, they draw elements from Sandbox MMOs. Mostly Wakfu in the environmentalistic virtues of this MMO, which makes you plant trees, make gold, or the crafting side, and basically the Omni Sandbox, it's done actually from the designer point, when the players play that much that they actually get premium accounts to design their own worlds.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah.
so is this like a style of Minecraft, or does everybody participate with that?
No, it's more... Do you know Flash games? Isometric Flash games.
Well, I know Flash games, but I don't know what exactly an isometric Flash game is.
Well, picture an NES game with an isometric view.
Okay.
And imagine a lot of more detail and higher quality, like Rayman Origins, for example.
Okay.
And imagine a lot of designing based on each genre, each environment, and each creature, each monster has actually a connection with the environment. You can get monsters, put them in that environment, and the other players will just kill them all, get their seeds, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's the most the environmental approach for that MMO.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what do you hope to see in the future for Sandbox MMO?
gameplay-wise, I really wanted to see a lot of simple but clever elements implemented in that sandbox. Not player housing, not that kind of things. That only overcomplicates it. I really want an MMO sandbox which lets you draw out the dragon versus Dungeons and Dragons formula. Basically, start with a simple MMO, then add add-ons like any other game.
Okay. Well, and so Alan, what you say you're an animator? Do you currently make animations for video games?
I've applied to a lot of studios in my country, EA and Gameloft.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, thank you very much for your call, Alan. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. You take care. Okay. So, it's kind of a little bit hard to understand what he was saying, but you know, he definitely did bring up a good point, which was that there actually is a lot of games that we don't even hear about. And these are games that, whether they're smaller communities or whether they are, you know, just in a different language from like English or whatever, that that we just don't get exposure to because we don't speak the language. So, lines are open. If you'd like to call in, you may. And so, you know, recently we heard about universe projects, and in fact, I did a video about it a couple of days ago, and they just had this really, really interesting concept of starting with just a world that is kind of blank and devoid of you know, any influence by people, and that we would be the first people there, and we would be you know, just beyond Neanderthal. We'd just be humans or Homo sapiens, and so the very first things that we would be doing would be with our hands and everything. Who knows? Maybe we would just be running around naked. I don't know. But it just seems to me that would be such a great place to start, and then to go up through, you know, accelerate time by, you know, such an extent, you know, maybe 10 times as fast or 100 times as fast, so that, you know, each age, like the whole caveman age and stuff, where we start figuring out, you know, our own tools and stuff in the beginning, it might be, you know, a 6-month deal, and then we figure out the first metal making, or the first, or we figure out fire and everything, and we break all this up into different ages, and you know, 10 years from now, we're entering the space age type of thing. I think that would be a great game. So let me take another caller here. Hello, Star Shooter. You are on the air.
Hello there.
Hi. Are you audio only, or do you have video?
Audio only at the moment.
Audio only. Okay, Star Shooter, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Mid-20s. I am an IT administrator in the San Francisco Bay Area. Obviously, avid gamer like you. I spent many years in Ultima. And lately I've found myself quite bored. The games just don't seem to have that sense of excitement or community that they used to, and I've started to look into making my own game.
Okay.
I would say about 80% of the back end for a open MMO. It is usable at the moment, although still a bit quirky. I'm trying to hopefully launch into like an alpha phase in the next 12 months or so, and not have constant time warps and bugs and all that kind of stuff. Have been using my spouse's artistic abilities to get the front end done, and so far things are going well. Yeah.
So, what kind of engine are you using to develop this game?
Right now we're playing around a lot with Unity. I'm kind of focusing on modeling as I do the back end. Unity was never designed to be an MMO, and it was never designed to have endless worlds. It has a certain tile size, basically. It's extremely large, but there is a tile size. And once you get past that, you start to lose detail. And there is a way to stitch them together in real time, but it's not quite native to the engine.
So, for your game that you're designing, can you tell us, what you envision somebody who's coming in to play it what's their experience going to be? What are they going to do?
What they're going to do is kind of going to be up to them. I do plan on installing, basic towns and kind of evolving as the world grows. I don't know what I'm going to do yet as far as servers go. I do plan on launching with one. Like I said, I am an IT administrator. I have tons of servers available to me, but I don't know how I'm going to handle different instances because I'd like to be able to administer each server individually, which means it would kind of grow as the world changes. The thing that I'm really aiming to program in here, though, is actually the whole risk factor. Something I don't like about games these days is levels and classes. It's too uniform. It doesn't give the people the ability to be unique and do their own quirky little things. And I want a high level of risk. I want you to be going out in the middle of nowhere, and if you die and you lose all your stuff, well, you got to get the gang together, and they got to go out there and try to get your favorite axe back. Otherwise, you're going to chalk it up as a loss. And I think that by doing that, you force people to have a sense of community. If you lose your armor, what do you do now? You have to go to the local smith or the armorer and say, hey, I need a new sword, I need a new tunic, I need this, I need that, but it forces you to interact.
So you wouldn't have like an auction system that is so impersonal.
Exactly. I am not a fan of World Chat, and I am not a fan of auction houses because of that reason.
Do you think that that what people are looking for in games is coming back around like fashion does? In fashion you see the trends pop up every 20 years or so. And do you think we're going back to the days of Ultima Online where you craft things and you buy it and sell it to your neighbor and you only have chat that's right in front of you and stuff like that?
I don't think gaming's been out long enough to compare it to a longer trend such as fashion. I think that gaming evolved from very basic stuff such as Pong to more advanced games like MUDs, where it was all text-based, but you still had other people to interact with up until games like Ultima Online and EverQuest and World of Warcraft, where you had these huge, expansive realms. But again, the business side comes into play where people start dumbing things down to get to the massives. And, understandably, it's a business. They don't want to keep it small. They want to get as big as they can to get a nice client base. But I think there is a large enough market now, and there's enough, hardcore gamers that, and they don't even have to be hardcore gamers, but someone who wants something different. There's enough people now that don't like the fact that all these games are so easy. They are so easy. There's no sense of personality outside of your little guild, or maybe you have a group of real life friends you play with, and they're looking for something else. And I hear nonstop from all the different games that they're tired of things becoming too similar. When you say World of Warcraft launched, if you were a hunter, you had a pet. And if you were a warlock, you could summon little minions. But now everyone has minions, because it wouldn't be fair to take away a little something else from this different class over here or that different class. And now they all have minions, they all have spells, they all have the same debuffs and buffs. And yes, they are still a little more focused based off of their class, but it's too universal. My aim is to make a game where you can be, a mage who dabbles in fishing, who dabbles in blacksmithing, but you won't be any good at them. You can do it, but you won't be good at it. If you want to be good, you're going to have to focus more skill points on that. And hopefully you will make a good workable template. Maybe you're going to be a little offensive, so kind of a glass cannon. You might be all defense, so you'll be able to stand there and take a beating, but you won't have any real high DPS. I think is the term that they're using in most games now.
Let me ask you a question which is a bit more on the business side.
Yep.
So, how do you plan to support the game?
Well, I'm in a very fortunate situation that
You're
because
rich?
I'm not that fortunate. No, because I am an IT administrator and I am developing all of this in-house, and stuff like Unity is very affordable. I already have the server infrastructure there. I already have the bandwidth there. I already have the firewalls in place. I've done the majority of the back end already. So I have a very low operating cost. I mean, it really is nothing to operate. Obviously, things will change a lot as it scales up. But hopefully, as it scales up, I can make it into a viable business. Currently, what's that?
Do you envision doing some sort of Kickstarter campaign or something like that?
I've thought about it. I don't know if that's the route I want to take, though. The idea of Kickstarter from a marketing point of view is great.
Well,
I'm sure you get a lot. What's that?
It'll tell you whether or not people are willing to spend any money on it. Because if you fail on a Kickstarter campaign, either one, you're not good at marketing, and so you didn't present the stuff well, or you presented it well and nobody is interested in playing it. And so you should stop your development at that point.
Well, admittedly, I am enjoying what I do. So
Well, there is something to be said about that. And when people follow their passion, they become successful at it. Nothing stops them from being successful. And so, if it is your passion, you will be successful at it, no matter what. No matter whether or not a whole bunch of other people like it or 100 of your best friends all play together and like it. So...
yeah, well, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is even if I get a couple hundred people in it, it won't be profitable. It won't. But if I have a couple hundred people in it and I can go in there, a couple hours a day and have a good time, it'll be worth the year that I put into it or 2 years I put into it. And like I said, I already have all the infrastructure. It's already all in a colo facility. I already pay for it. So it's not really going to be costing me anything. In fact, it'd be easier if I only had 100 people because then I wouldn't have to worry about account management.
Yeah. So I have a question here from chat. It's Devanu, and he says, "What you gonna do about hacking and pirating?"
Hacking and pirating is something I've actually been focusing on for the last 2 months or so. Not so much the last week. I've been focusing on other things. The problem with hacking and piracy is it's very hard to get a positive fix on someone who is there. Truly the best method is to listen to your user base and say, hey, so and so's over here macroing. They've been mining for 80 hours straight at the same location. There are little things you can do on the back end to help. You can put timers in where if someone plays more than 20 hours a day, it sends up a flag. Or maybe they play more than 100 hours in a week, it sends up another flag. Another thing you can do is you can set server maxes, which is not the most effective thing to do on the server side of things. But typically in MMOs, you have a buffer zone. It'll be 2 meters. You can move 2 meters in any direction without the server knowing before you stop. And Ultima Online, I believe, was 2 tiles. You could go 2 tiles anyway. And if it didn't get a response back from the server saying, yes, I'm allowing that, then you'd stop there or you'd rubber band back. So if you put something in as a kind of a max, which I think speed hacking is probably one of the biggest issues in games these days, especially if it ends up being PvP heavy. If you put in a max and they keep on bumping up against that max, say the max is 1 meter per second, and so you put in a limit of, say, 1.1 or 1.2, and then if they hit, say, 10 pings against that limit in a day or a week or whatever you want to do, obviously it needs a little fine-tuning, but if they keep hitting that, that person is obviously speeding around. And then you set up another flag. It says, hey, whenever this happens, report to the GM. The GM can go and look and say, what is this person doing? Oh, look, they're trailblazing at the light or speed of light. We need to give this person, a notice and maybe give them a couple days off the game to cool it.
Yeah. So, well, it sounds interesting. I encourage you, when you've got something to show, to get in touch, and maybe we can show it to everybody on one of the episodes of the show.
Fun.
So, okay, well, Star Shooter, thank you very much for your call.
Yep.
And you have a good evening.
You do.
Okay, so that, is... I think that there's a lot of indie development going on like that, especially once the game engines keep getting cheaper. And what's going to happen is that we're going to have some greatness happen from one or two of these games, and it's going to explode beyond what they ever imagined, and we are all going to have a great time playing it. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, let me answer another call here. Let's see here. Hello, Brian. You are on the air. Hello, Brian. You need to unmute yourself, because I don't hear a thing. Hello, Brian. Okay, well, Brian can try again. And so the lines are open and available. So let's try this. Zane Leer.
Hey, how's it going? I'm going to put my camera on.
Okay, let me switch my screen here. And
I've been waiting to try to talk to you for some time.
Yeah, so Zane Leer, tell us about yourself.
24. I'm a gamer, like a lot of people. Big fan of yours. Been watching your stuff for quite some time. Did you get your names, by the way, for the War Z? Because I was holding on to them for a couple of days.
Well, yes and no. I got the one that was most important to me, which was not one of them that you grabbed.
Okay.
And but I have to say that whole experience was very painful, even though you and some others were trying to be very helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I noticed, because I tried going in there, I was like, Marky Dragon. I'm like, oh, that name's taken. Because right as soon as the wipe happened, I was thinking that somebody's going to try to steal your name. But I guess it kind of happened. Yeah, like your last caller said, how the games are getting dumbed down. It's starting to bother me too, because I used to play MapleStory, which whoever's played it, they know that it took about 2 or 3 years to get to level 200, and now you could do it in about maybe a week or so, which is frustrating because I would always watch these people and I'm like, oh, this is really cool, and then I tried to get to their same level too, but it yeah. Sorry. After they updated it with the Big Bang patch that came out, it made the game super easy, which I've been noticing in a lot of games I used to play, like Cabal Online, some others that have been shut down. I can't remember exactly, but it seems that the gaming industry, because I'm guessing people just want to get the more players, it's just going to be dumbed down so that anybody with a computer is going to go, oh, this game looks fun, I'm going to play it.
Right. You know, us hardcore gamers are at a disadvantage because hardcore doesn't pay as well as casual games.
Yeah.
And so there are some good hardcore games out there, but they tend to not achieve as big a subscribership or player base as some of the other things. Although I have to say that, you talk about dumbing down games and everything, and I'm finding the War Z to be incredibly engaging and difficult. And I am enjoying that. I want a game where I fail over and over and over again multiple times until I have a small measure of success.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention about the War Z. It's actually, I haven't played it in a while because of all what's been going on, where people are saying, oh, hackers this and hackers that. And also, I think the wipe, they kind of did that a bit prematurely. They should have waited until they got rid of most of the hackers, or any hackers at all. Plus, the server hoppers too, because that's going to defeat the purpose of the wipe. Because I started playing about maybe an hour or so after the wipe, and I've seen, oh, I'm going to go here, oh, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go here. And I'm like, they just wiped it. Now, the guy who had the sniper rifles are going to go to the military base because they said that a lot of the spawns are going to be pretty much set up to where it's like military items are military, police are at police, and stuff like that.
Well, yes and no, but also I saw some information that said that in order to get the higher end items, the higher end spawn items, that there has to be a lot more players in the general vicinity. And so in order to get that sniper rifle, there has to be a bunch of people already there.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, and I actually made a comment saying that, so now we're just going to have to camp a spot, and then wait 15 minutes, or hopefully within those 15 minutes, maybe get a sniper rifle. But if you have a whole group of people, they're going to be like, okay, so now it's Frank's turn. Okay, now it's Kevin's turn. And then that kind of stuff kind of defeats the purpose of actually playing the game. It's more of a who can camp to get the better weapons. Mm-hmm. And then, and I was also going to say, I've noticed that in a lot of games, this is like off topic of Warzy, where I was saying, like dumbing down and stuff. Well, I've noticed a lot of games have guilds and stuff to where if you don't play in that said guild, like the top ranked guilds or like the Uber guilds as people call them, then you can't play the game at all. I've noticed this with like Eve or APB or a few other games where like for example in APB where it's a PvP pretty much heavy game, and you go into your game, you want to start a mission, and you can't fight anybody unless they're, well, what I mean by you can't find anybody is you can't go against anybody who's not in a guild, because in the game there's like 3 or 4 clans, and I don't think there's a limit to how many people you can have, and it's pretty much the whole entire game is pretty much within that one clan. So if you're in a 100-player server, you're going to be like fighting 80 people who are within that clan. That kind of stuff is bothering me because you can't enjoy the game unless you're part of them. And then if you're part of them, then you have less people to go against, so you're just constantly fighting the same people, or you and the 20 other people who are in the server have to keep constantly fighting them. And a lot of those clans too are full of hackers, so that kind of also is a bad thing where it's hacker clans versus legit people, or it's legit clans just trying to take over the server. Because I heard that with Eve there was this people called the Goon Squad that was pretty much, if you mess with them, they will pretty much destroy you. And they took, like, I don't know how much of the player base, like, somebody said 50% joined them so that they could actually play the game.
I don't know if it was that high. I know that, I don't know whether they're at this point right now, but I know at one point they were the largest corporation in the game. And but something interesting about them is that they charge a fee, a real world dollars fee to be a part of it. I was I know the former leader of that corp, and he was talking about how they charged a fee to get into a forum, and to get into the forum you had to be in the forum in order to get into the corp. So. So anyway, what games right now do you think have it right that aren't... maybe I should rephrase that. Are there any games that have been out for more than a year that haven't dumbed it down too much, that have had the staying power and have got that right?
I haven't really looked too many games lately. I got some Steam games. I guess they're pretty much the only ones I guess that haven't been dumbed down, because they're pretty much built how... most developers want them. I don't know. I'm looking at the new DayZ. I'm guessing that could have, because it's a pretty tough game, and you can't really do anything to dumb it down unless you give everybody a weapon at the start. I really don't know. I've been messing with a few games. I've been messing with Raider Z, which it doesn't feel like it's a dumbed down game, but it kind of doesn't feel like, I don't know, it's kind of like an easy to play, but it's got some skill because you have to dodge your enemies, and then you have to aim at them when you're attacking, because you can't just hit them without aiming. I was also messing with Guild Wars 2 a little bit. I don't know how that works, if it feels dumbed down, but I noticed a lot of MMORPGs are doing that nowadays.
Well, it's a common trend, and it's unfortunate, but they just keep trying to get new people in. So, I hope that I hope that as games continue to come out, that the stuff that's longer term can hold our attention and our interest and our struggle to play them. So.
I'm sorry for all your viewers too if I didn't get anything like answered that was really specific, because I'm kind of nervous because I've been waiting to talk to you for some time, and it's like my first time getting to. Because every time I like send you a message, you're either like busy or something. But I understand because you're doing this and you're doing all your like filming and stuff.
Yeah. So
No.
Okay, well, Zane Leer, thank you for your call.
I was also going to ask you one thing.
Okay, one more thing.
Possibly, maybe, if lucky enough, I could get into a War Z with you sometime, hopefully. I know, I'll try, but...
Okay, so here's the deal on War Z. And so right now I just added you to my War Z list.
All right.
And so I have this list that any of you who want to play War Z with me, here's the deal. Send me a message on Skype saying you want to play War Z with me. I will add you to my list, and when I am in War Z, I will send all of you a message saying I'm in War Z and telling you where we're located at and what server we're playing on. So
just typing all my in-game names down right now.
and so the we have had some success playing that way, and we have a good clan. And
I'll join the clan if I can, hopefully.
yes, well, we are charging admission to the clan.
How much would that be?
1,000 gold.
Oh, yeah, they gave the 1,000 gold or 1,014.
Yeah, and that's because it costs for the positions to add more people to a clan, and so that keeps the person who started the clan from having to fork out a lot of their own money.
Yeah.
And so
I guess I could do that. It won't hurt. I mean, is it going to be for one character, or do I have to give it if you were to do multiples?
one account.
Okay.
So
That's good.
yeah, and so okay, yeah. So
All right.
Zane,
I guess,
thank you,
I'll let
thank
you
you.
go.
Yep.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you. I'll try to get on your next live stream, hopefully.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so yeah, for those of you who want to play, I'm having a great time playing, and we are at Smith's camp. It's in the upper northeastern corner, and that is our kind of our base of operations. We keep the server name private, or the server number private, because we have too many people that are watching the live streams, and we get ganked. So we keep that private, and but we're having a lot of fun. I hope those of you who are watching live right now, I hope tomorrow to play some, and who knows, maybe you'll even make it into one of the videos. Okay, so got another caller here. Hello, Brian. Second try, you're on the air.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Are you audio only, or do you have video?
I am audio only for this time.
Okay. Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a bit of a hacker. I do not do it as something, as a job. I am more of a hobbyist, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I am the guy that companies hate, but they learn to love eventually.
And so, Brian, tell us of some of your exploits, some of your accomplishments as a hacker.
Well, I've had accomplishments and a couple of little games like Conquer Online, mostly free to play. I don't mess around with big companies. I don't want to get into any trouble, and I mostly don't release anything. It's just for, learning. That's it.
Mm-hmm. So, what kind of effect have you had on these games? What have you done?
Oh, you'll be surprised. I've gotten anywhere from controlling a server economically to getting people really pissed off at me just because I've managed to do what they want to do, yet they haven't been able to.
So, controlling a game economically, were you able to generate currency in the game? Is that what you were doing, or?
Not generate currency, but a form. I guess this could be better summed up as an example. In World of Warcraft, there is a thing like mining.
Hmm.
In other games, you could do a tedious process over and over and over. I would basically create bots to do that for me over and over and over. And over time, you grow such a vast, such a vast number of bots that it just gets out of control and you control it.
Hmm. Hmm. And so, have you ever used this for like monetary gain?
No, I really wish not to, just because I know I could get into a lot of trouble for that. But eventually I give it up, as in I give it back to the community one way or another, indirectly by rather quitting or directly by giving it to specific players or stuff like that. Spread the wealth.
Hmm. Hmm. And let me ask you some. I'd like to know a little bit more about, what someone like you is thinking. May I ask how old you are?
I am 17,
17. And what country do you live in?
the United States.
And do you aspire to, to maybe get a job in the IT industry and using the skills that you've learned here?
Yes, I do actually. Well, in order to explain what my goal is, I think I'd have to educate a little bit of your viewers
Okay.
on the different spectrums, because there's two sides, well, more than three, but there's two typical sides of this. There is the illegal hackers and the ones that work for companies. I want to be the good guy, the ones that work for company to secure your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And but don't you worry about the legal ramifications if you get caught?
Yes, I do actually. Uh, there's a lot of ways around them finding you, but initially you really have to be very very precise of what you're doing, and you need to know your laws of where you live and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm just trying to think here, of really where. Why are you telling us this? Why did you call in and tell us that you're a hacker?
Because there has been a lot of shadow, and well, not too much, but there has been a lot of scrutiny about how hackers ruin games and how they manage to make life miserable for people that actually enjoy games and stuff like that. Well, we're here just, we love a game. That's why we even put the time inside hacking a game. But we have different goals. We all do. It's just too much of a general thing to actually say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And, okay, well, I don't know that I have any more questions for you. Do you have anything else that you want to tell us about your hacking?
Not specifically about my hacking, but I have a bit of a question for your opinion, or
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
With information being brought out through the internet to all, places, like Japan, China, and all those places, urban areas, where do you think the future will go? I mean, there's already indie games and stuff like that. But let's take about 3 steps forward, like virtual reality. Where do you think we're going?
So with virtual reality, I think that and this is going to sound really crazy, but eventually our cell phones, will never leave our pockets if we have one in our if we even have one. They'll fit into our ear. A little thing will go onto our glasses that'll project, something onto your glasses, or just a little something out there that projects something into your eye to where you can see through it, but you can still see it. And we're going to have a whole new realm of games that is going to come out. games that you can sit and play while you're watching TV, or while you're in class, or while you're walking down the street. And an example of this is Google Goggles. Google Goggles allows you to take an Android phone and to be like in an urban area. It uses the GPS and everything, and you hold up your phone. Let's see, I've got my phone here. I don't know if I can. Well, I can't even show it off in the in my office here. But you would hold up your phone and you would look forward at whatever, and it will show you on the screen what you're looking at. It'll show you like the names of all the restaurants that you see ahead of you. It'll show you the name of the grocery store and everything. And this is all happening right now, that you can do right now. But what we're going to have beyond that is we may have like major Easter egg hunts that'll happen in cities. There may be games where we're all running around, different cities and stuff, actually being physical and everything. And we are, I don't know, it could even be like Grand Theft Auto, except, you're shooting with the virtual gun by blinking your eye or something like that. I don't know.
Hey.
So I think that that we are coming up on stuff like that, and that is a direction that has never been, in virtual reality sense. Virtual reality has been around since the 80s, but I think that this is the precipice of a whole new level above the stuff that we saw in the 80s. So
Yeah, it's not too crazy. I mean, there's one specific physicist, Mikhail Kaku, I think his name is, that actually mentions it a couple of times, how we'll eventually end up having screens in our eye sockets and stuff like that. So it's not too crazy. But now a different question would be, when is it too much? I mean, security will always be one of the biggest things.
Mhm.
How can you secure yourself when you're showing your face in front of who knows who in a game of, in a virtual world?
Gosh, I guess as a hacker you would think about that, huh?
Yeah.
So it's already a fact that when you walk into a casino, that if you've been in that casino before, they know who you are. And it's just all by facial recognition and everything. You go and sign up for one of those, you've probably, at your age, you probably have not been in a casino before. And I haven't spent much time in casinos, but I lived in Biloxi, Mississippi for a year, where there were a lot of casinos there, and we'd go in and have like dinner or whatever, and they'd offer you, well, if you signed up, that they'd give you, $100 in free play. So I took advantage of that a couple of times, even though I think gambling is evil. And the fact is, when you sign up for everything, they're already got so many cameras around, they know that they just gave you that card and who you are. And next time you walk into any one of the casinos, they're all interconnected, and they have the facial recognition stuff, and so they know who you are coming in. And if you get banned from one, you could be banned from all. And that's kind of, something about what you're talking about people recognizing you and everything. I think that there'll be applications that'll go on top of that will help hide identities at the same time. And so, I don't know. Let's not get too far out there. People are good-natured as a whole, and that people don't generally do things for evil, and we all need to be wary of those people. But those kind of people are a very infinitesimal number of the overall community, and it's not something that I tend to worry about too much. So, because you just don't enjoy life if you're
Fair enough.
if you're running around scared.
Yeah, only the future will tell.
Yeah. So, Brian, thank you very much for your call. And next time you pull off some major heist or whatever, something that you really want to tell us about, some major accomplishment, give me a call.
Okay.
So, okay, take care. Actually, maybe I shouldn't have even said that. I don't want to encourage him to to go out hacking. Oh my God, I just encouraged a hacker. Yeah, well, and he's pretty much sounds like a neophyte hacker. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience with a lot of that stuff, but it. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that call there. So, okay, continuing on. Let's see here. I think that this may seem kind of odd, but you guys, I need to take a break for just a second. So we're going to continue the live show, but I need to step out for just a minute, and then we'll continue on longer. Let me get something here. Let's see here. So how about we do here? I'm just trying to think of what music I could play. Okay. Well, we're going to do just a little bit of heavy metal here for just a minute. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Seriously, just 2 minutes. Be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere. Okay, Dr. Pepper for the win. So, yeah, I should have had like some sort of advertisement or something ready to go, huh? I didn't have anything ready to go. So, okay, lines are open, and so do give me a call if you want to. Let's see here. Hello, Death Boy. You are on the air.
Hi.
Hi.
Will you 4Z with me sometime?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Boy, he sounded like he was about 7 years old. Okay, so, yeah. I'm happy to play War Z with people. That's a lot of fun. Okay. So, hello, Steve. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing
How are you?
good. Good. Good.
Oh, good.
Do you have video or are you just audio only?
No, I'm afraid I'm just audio only.
Okay, Steve. What's on your mind?
Well, me and my good friend James this morning were talking about the Universe project.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how the gaming market and how the games have grown in the past 20 or 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Of how little pixels to now big platformed MMO games. And we were thinking if we give it another 20 years, where would games develop from in 20 years? So we were just sort of asking for your opinion on that.
Well, I think I don't exactly know where games will be in 20 years, but I expected actually by this point that Ultima Online stuff, the whole MMO genre would have advanced past where it is now. What we need for the next big breakthrough is for a game company to show us something that we never needed, or that we never knew we needed, or that we didn't know we wanted. And then once we've started playing it, that we can't understand how we ever did without it, if that makes any sense. And that is something like the iPhone. The iPhone was one of the first phones to come out with a screen on it and everything. And, whoever needed something like that, we didn't know we needed it. But now can you imagine having a phone that's just a touchpad again?
Yeah.
So that was like a real advancement in cell phone technology, and we, as far as games, I read more about the Universe projects today, and in fact they have a blog that when you when I put in my thing today, because if you sign up for it, then it gives you this URL which you can give out to other people, and it will then sign them up under you. And if you refer 12 people, they'll give you the game at half the price whenever the game comes out. And so I found that to be kind of interesting. And so on my video that I did about the Universe projects, I had a link in there, and when I looked this morning, I had about 240 people that had signed up under me. So I think I made the 12 necessary to get the game for half price.
Yeah.
And now I also read that they had a message up there about a blog of a whole bunch of questions and answers on there. And they were trying to dispel all the things that people were saying about you can't have a game the size of the world, you can't remodel the Earth exactly, and stuff like that. And they had very, very good answers to a lot of those, including like that the Earth, as it will be known in the game, or the planet as it will be known in this game, will not be our Earth. It'll be the same size, may have the same landmass and water ratio, but they're not going to try and exactly replicate it because that would be too hard. And so that's how they're going to overcome some of the things like that. I think that this whole idea of, what if we could play a game that we intended to play for maybe 10 years? and that it had the same hardness and the same character development and it didn't become too easy over time. I could envision them setting out a 10-year timeline on the Universe project, and then I would want to play that. We start at Neanderthal. We're just out of being Neanderthals. We're now Homo sapiens, and we're starting out, and we've got very basic tools all the way up through 10 years from now. We have space age, and then it may become like Terra Nova, the TV show that was on Fox last year, and we go through a portal, or like Stargate. We go through a portal and we start colonizing some new worlds. That could add another 10 years to the game. Or they could even build a brand new engine at that point, and that new planet was on that new engine, and so it could totally upgrade the game. I don't know. If I was going to build a game, I would be building something like that.
Yeah,
But-
because we were talking about it, and because it was sort of it's almost like we were wondering if it was actually gonna be is actually gonna make the game and actually gonna be a final piece. And we were thinking, because it almost sounds too good to be true. 'Cause, we were thinking if they do pull this off and it's exactly what they say in the video, it will be a fantastic game.
Well, I can tell you that the video sounds absolutely fantastical, and it sounds maybe out of bounds of reason as we know it today. But if, let's just say that World of Warcraft, how much did they spend in development of the game? It was 30 million or so at the beginning. What if they had like $100 million budget to make this game? The money can drive the technology to make something like this. And so now, myself as an entrepreneur, I'm a dreamer. I'm creative, I'm a dreamer, and I look at things and I will not say that it's impossible. Now, if there are some things that I might say are impossible, but this is not one of them, because who am I to say what kind of technology they think they can create? And why should I try and put a damper on them doing it? If they want to try, it doesn't hurt me at all for them to try. And if they're successful, then more power to them. It's going to be a big thing for all of us. So I do have very high hopes that they can actually do this, and I do think that it is possible. I used to my programmers back at a previous company that I owned. We built a lot of really specialized tools that we used for in the sales of game codes and stuff like that. And my staff would sometimes tell me that I was crazy to try and put some of that stuff in. And I'm like, it's not about, if it's good for the customer, which, in the game space, if it's good for the players, then why not give somebody the task to do it and see if they can do it? If they come back and say, I tried and I can't get it to work, fine. But you know what? That never happened to me. There was a few times where we altered things a little bit, but it never happened to me. And when I wrote up design for how these things should work, basically I wrote up, what the customer wants, what the end goal should look like, and what the interface may look like. But I didn't hold them to anything but what the customer wants and what the end goal should be. And the programmers built everything in between out of their own imagination of how they could make it work. And they even told me later on, they were like, we created some incredible things that we didn't even know were possible. And it was just because you didn't know they were possible to create. And so if you had known that they were impossible to create, you wouldn't have asked for them. But they were like so glad that I did, because we came up with some amazing things. And more power to them. The game as it stands right now is just vaporware, and so it's nothing. But if I'm not a rich man, but if I had extra money, I would definitely be talking to them about investing in this project, because if they can do it, it'll be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you guys think about this? Do you think it's something that you want to play?
Yeah, yeah. As soon as we saw it, we thought, yeah, this it sounds like an amazing game. As I said, we didn't know if it was actually real. We had to do a bit of research. So yes. This morning I was thinking about it, but I wasn't like 100% confident if I knew it was going to be real. But now I'm thinking it's probably. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's real now. Now what you've said.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who these people are. I mean, I've got one of the names of one of the guys that's doing it, but I didn't look him up to see what his history was, to see whether he was a game developer, whether he's like some sort of investor person, or if he's just like you and me and just theorizing what would be really fun, having no clue how to build it.
Yeah.
And so it could be that that it's nothing whatsoever, but they have definitely caused a stir. I heard that their main video got 100,000 views I think they said in the first 6 hours that the video was up.
Wow.
And the viral nature of it, how they put it together, is very, very good. So they're definitely good at marketing, and they didn't make promises in it. What they did is they said a whole bunch of what if, and what if we could build that. And so I think that I think that it's possible. So what do you think on a game like this, where they talk about a virtual planet and everything, virtual life? At what point do you think it should be started? Where does your character? What is your character when we start?
What do you mean? What point in history? Is this what you mean?
Well, broader than that. Should we all start out as cells trying to divide? And those are our characters. We work our way up into fish, which become amphibious and crawl out of the water. Or do we start at a point where we have fire already and we're humans? Or should we be apes? Where do you think we should start on this?
I think the caveman, is much. How would you put this? From where we know human life started, like from that point.
Mm-hmm.
If because I think it's a really good idea to go through all the time stages.
Mm-hmm.
I can think starting at sort of the caveman and trying to just discover fire. I think that would be quite a good place to start, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And how should the game progress? What would be fun for the progression?
Ooh, wow. I don't know. I was thinking maybe, people can discover fire, and once everything there has to be discovered, and once everyone's got to master, then the time era, then the developers can move the game forward a time era, or move the time zone on. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and what periods of time would you look most forward to playing?
I'm gonna say the Industrial Revolution, because
Okay.
because I think that's when all the new ideas were sort of coming into play, or maybe the Victorian ages. I think that would be quite interesting. Just see how they can make the game interesting. Playing as a Victorian, because
yeah, and let's see here. And what, for a game like this, what would you be willing to pay for it?
That reminds me. Yeah, I was hoping when I saw it, it's not a monthly one of the monthly subscriptions, because I'm not really good with them. I always forget to do it, and then I always end up spending my money and forgetting about the next month. So I don't know. I think I'll be willing to pay as much within reason as they want, but obviously not too much. But
right,
yeah, I was just hoping it's not really a monthly subscription, which it may be.
And okay, well, you know, I am very much looking forward to this game. I'll be covering it as I hear more about it, and I think that it's probably, though, unfortunately, I'll bet that we're a couple years away from being able to play it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of hype right now, and hopefully we have some good games along the way to get us there. So, okay, Steve. Well, thank you very much for your call.
Thank
I've
you.
enjoyed talking with you, and one day we'll see each other in the Universe projects. So,
Hopefully, yeah.
okay, take care.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, so I have very high hopes for that game, and but I have very high hopes for many other games too. And if I myself were to get to work on development on a game like that, you better believe I'd be all over that. So, okay, let's see here. Hello, Devenu. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Divine You.
Divine You. Okay. So, do you have any video, or are you just audio only?
My video camera is broken.
Okay.
Just audio.
Okay. So, Divine You, what is... tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a high school student, and I'm 14. And I started making YouTube videos and watching you. And now I'm just pursuing your videos, and I was just wanting to ask you, you sell video game products and everything, and what effect does it take on you having pirating involved in it?
So, you know, pirating doesn't happen to what we sell. It doesn't happen to what we sell, because we deal in the MMO space, and there's just not really pirating that happens there, but there is theft and organized crime and everything, and I can say that in the past I took enormous losses from theft and stuff, but these days we have it down to a science, and we've got such a low fraud rate that it's sickening. And you know, in fact, it's almost I'm almost afraid to tell anybody what our fraud rate is, because they would think that we were lying. But so what has your interest in that question?
Well, I take website design in one of my classes, and we did a study on pirating and what effect it takes on people and their businesses, and how the great loss of money they have when people pirate their music, their games, and everything, and what money they could be making on making new games when really they can't continue on with their businesses.
And do you think that that is a big concern for a lot of people making stuff that can be pirated?
I think it is because really they work hard to make their money and put these things out there, and people don't take advantage of their money and they don't support them on making the next thing, so they have a chance of just quitting making their things, since there's no point of selling them if people are just going to get them free.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And can I ask you a question? Have you ever, like, let's use like music for an example or something like that. Have you ever gotten an MP3 from a friend and, you know, put it on your iPod and it was one that you didn't pay for?
Usually not. I get my music off iTunes mostly,
Mm-hmm.
or Pandora. I have the Pandora app. I don't.
Have you ever gotten anything that was copied or that you didn't pay for?
I've hooked up my iPod to a friend's iTunes before, but I've never really like iTunes to MP3 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly just I copied it to listen to music, but once I plug it back to my iTunes, I lose all those music once again.
Right. So, what is your opinion on piracy after taking that class?
I think piracy, they should work hard on trying to stop it and prevent things like I go on YouTube, and if you look up just the simplest how to get anything free, there's tons of videos on how to get things for free and all that, and not much effect is taken into stopping those videos, so it's getting out into the public on how to get these free things.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think someone should be removing those videos, like YouTube shouldn't allow them?
I think it's something to watch for, because all the new arrivals that just came out, like Assassin's Creed 3 and all, Halo 4 and everything, people already started pirating them and everything. I think they should have people watching YouTube, seeing what is going on and see if they can get rid of some of the higher people that are pirating and teaching kids how to pirate.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask what country you live in?
United States.
United States. Okay, so here in the United States we have freedom of speech, which really means that we can say anything that we want to as long as we're not making, you know, like threats against someone. And so do you think that you know, stopping piracy is more important than our ability to say what we want?
Well, I think the ability to say what you want should go to a certain point before it's really breaking the limit. Like I watched a video by Kid Rock. He got his music pirated, and he made a video saying, if you can take my things for free, why not take everything for free?
Yeah. Well, I think that it's a double-edged sword, because we enjoy our freedom of being able to say everything. Like I don't have to censor anything on this show, you know, and you know, well, just like at the beginning of this live episode, talking to Jerry about Ivan and Martin, who have been put in jail for espionage for taking pictures in Greece. And so, you know, that all sounds like an abuse of power, an abuse of freedom. And we're very lucky here in the United States that you know, we have this freedom, and with that freedom becomes more responsibility on each one of our parts, but it also means that there are more problems with people having that speech. Like, you know, there's plenty of videos out there about how to make a bomb, even though, you know, bombs sometimes are used to hurt people. And so kind of a double-edged sword, because we don't want to disrupt anyone's freedom of speech. So, well, so what are you going to take forward with you from that class of, you know, like the stuff that you learned in that class, does that affect how you make your videos or anything like that?
I try to keep my videos, like, I try to tell people that, like, I put in links in the descriptions of how to buy the games and everything. I want people to support the creators of the games so they can make better and improve their games. And I try to, like, in my videos, persuade kids to buy the games instead of get them for free.
And for anybody who wants to check out your channel, how do they find you?
I'm on YouTube for Divinu videos.
Okay, and that's what? DIVINEU videos. And okay, so YouTube Divinu videos. DIVINEU videos. Okay.
Yep.
Well, so people can go check you out, and thank you for your call. I appreciate it, and keep up the good work.
All right, and can you put me on your Warzy list for gameplays?
Oh my goodness. I don't know about that. Okay, you're on the list.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay, well that was fun. You know what? I'm actually. It's interesting to hear that they are learning about piracy in school, and how how that can affect what the positive effect that's having on him as a person. I think that's really, really good. Okay. Let's see here. Mr. Sly Jesse.
Oh, hello. I don't know what's happening, but my computer's just disappeared with your picture, so I can't see you.
Oh, well, you don't need to see me. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what Skype's doing, but okay.
Yeah,
anyway, I wanted
can
to
you
talk
see me
about,
now?
Yes, I can kind of see you. I can't see my Skype, though.
Sorry, had to do it.
Alright, well,
What's
I'll go
up,
like this.
what's up, Jesse?
Alright, well, I wanted to talk about that big game of the Earth and everything.
Oh yeah, Universe Projects.
Yeah, that's it. I just couldn't think of the name. I'm thinking Universe what? Anyway. So if they're going to have a game the size of Earth, most of it's never actually going to be seen by anyone because it's going to be so large and we're not going to have that many players that they're going to actually see it all, especially over such a large time.
I have the answer to that.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
So, what happens... Okay, so we have cultures like in South America and stuff that are tribes that have never, ever interacted with the white man before and stuff like that, and they have their own cultures and everything, and they have lived happily doing their own thing in that area. And so, what if, a couple hundred of the players decided that they were going to all move to an island and separate themselves from everyone else, that they just had the game mechanics and stuff, but they were just going to do their own thing. Would that be fun?
For those people, it would be.
Okay. And for the other people who are outside of that, can you imagine exploring for weeks on end through jungles and stuff if you liked to be on your own and never seeing another person, and then maybe running into another culture and everything? I feel like here's what's going to happen is that there's going to be these pockets of people that are around, and each one of these is going to develop into a different culture. And that, it's just like real life. I mean, the Spaniards are different from the French, who are different from the Russians, who are different from the Americans, who are different from the Brazilians.
But the thing is with this, we're not going to have as many people as there are on Earth in the game. So there's going to be, like, only a tiny bit of population on this huge map. Mm-hmm. And so instead of just like running for hours, you're going to be running for weeks and weeks until you actually come across someone, and that's if you do. That's if you're lucky.
Okay, so I think that that is a concern, and that maybe they just need to put in a feature that maybe wouldn't be so realistic, but would be to say, transport me back to civilization. And so, well, no, so that you can go off wandering, and if you get completely lost and everything, that you're not just wandering aimlessly forever. And because you could, in what you're describing and what they've described for the game, it is possible that you could go a couple of years without seeing another player, and that wouldn't be very fun. But they also, on their blog, they talk about that people are social by nature, and that people will figure out how to hang together and work together and everything. So
I still see a lot of problems with it. How, well, if people want to hang together, they're kind of just going to be in one spot and that's it. So just say everyone's going to be in America in one section of the map, and if you don't want to be with them, then you're kind of going to be on your own or with your little guild mates somewhere else, and that will make the whole rest of the map obsolete. So if you take World of Warcraft for the example, I'm not sure now, but Stormwind for the Alliance was the go-to spot to meet other players. You know, you went around other towns, you're lucky if you came across one or two other people because they were leveling, and then the rest of the places would just be empty. That's how I see this game's going to go.
well, and it may be that we all start out in Africa as a continent, and that nobody knows how to build a boat to get across the ocean. Everybody keeps dying trying because our civilization just hasn't advanced that far. And so while it may be the entire world, the fact is that we're actually land-bound and not going to get very far. And so it'll hold us in closer together for the beginning. I don't know. I think it's something that they're going to have to tackle, because if I love to go out adventuring, and I would love to go out adventuring for days, and I would find that to be fun. But God, I hope I have a compass in my pocket. Because getting back to civilization, I would want to get back to civilization. I would want to find, oh hey, there's gold, sticking out of the ground right here, and I found this mining spot, and it takes me, 10 real life hours to walk to there. But I'm able to load everything up, load my backpack up or whatever I've got, and with all this gold, and I'm able to come back, and I'm able to survive for the next 6 months on just that amount of money, and only I know where that spot is, and nobody else finds it because it is so sparse. I don't know.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah. And maybe I want to be an hour outside of town and call that my homestead. And I want to build fences and walls out there and make that, and I'll make the hour trip into town for commerce and stuff, and then go back out to where I'm at and just do my own playing and stuff. So, what is it that we're gonna do in this game?
Well, it's not really a game yet, so we haven't got it's not defined what we can and can't really do. It's just, as you said before, it's just pretty much an idea at the moment. There's nothing really come to it. So what we're all saying here is we can build all this and do all that. Well, when the game does come out, if it does, then we might actually not be able to do any of that. I see that there's going to be set skills in it, because I don't really see that we can do everything that we can do in real life. I don't see that happening at all, especially not now, not in a few years' time. I think in 20 years, 30 years, maybe we can get somewhere around there where, there's ways we can do things that we can do in real life in the games. But until then, I believe we have player-defined steps. So to build a fire, we need to get wood and then make the wood into fire. But we can't really take the wood and then do like, I don't know, like 5 different ways to make the fire. Well, not 5 different ways, but any ways in real life to make the fire. It's always going to be set to determined steps. Mm-hmm. Just got to try and think of a way to explain it better.
Well,
like
let me ask a question.
Yep.
If 100 of us, you and I included, were dropped in the middle of somewhere, like let's say a jungle somewhere, and everything, or our characters were, and all our characters have is a clothes on their backs and the ability to communicate with each other. What would be fun to do as a game at that point? Just survival?
Pretty much survival and building up a town around us to expand, and then looking for resources to improve the town from there. And you know, if we have to fight off other tribes, or make friends with them, create trade routes from there, and then from there it could pretty much go anywhere.
I think that sounds like a fascinating game. It sounds like Civilization.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that this, you know, taking people, taking our characters and just putting us all someplace to start, and you know, maybe, you know, that the groupings are, you know, I don't even know how many people, but you know, that just put us there and let us do whatever we make up. And the developers watch and they see us, okay, well, they're struggling to make fire and they're struggling to make shelter and everything, and they're trying to do this, they're talking about doing this. The game mechanics may not be there to do that, but as they watch and pay attention to what we're trying to do, they say, okay, how can we get them to that point to where they can build a mud hut? Okay, let's allow them to take all these reeds and put them together and allow them to take water and dirt and make mud and pack it all together. Or, you know, take the cow manure, because I think that's what they actually do in Africa. They like take the cow manure and make their huts. You know, hot, steamy, and malleable. And you know, allow us to so they build as they watch us, that they build these new tools and these new abilities, and that is how we progress.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping Greedmonger's going to do. You know, you start off with the beginning, and they're just going to keep on adding to it. Like they said, they're going to add recipes constantly. I'm hoping they add like more things constantly as well to improve the game, get further in the game. That's what I'm looking forward to in that game.
Yeah, I think that from what I know about Greedmonger and what I know about the Universe projects and such, I think that just from everything I know so far, that Greedmonger is a stepping stone on the ability of doing this on a larger scale, and that Universe projects may figure out a lot of things that Greedmonger is doing and build on that, and you know, take it to the next level. So I will be there in Greedmonger. I've got land. You've got land.
Hey, I will.
Yeah, how many parcels of land did you buy?
16.
16. I got 4.
I'm going to have a small town.
You rich bastard. So
not really that rich. I'm using a tissue box. Just try and cover the name. This is my microphone stand, everyone. It is a tissue box.
Yes, well, you know, okay, so your civilization level has not quite made it. You haven't gained your skill of making microphone stands.
No, I've started though. I'm at the basis.
Started though. Yes, you're molding it and everything. So, I think that this whole Universe Projects thing is going to be absolutely fabulous. I wish that I could just stop the show right now and go log in, and and you know, the only thing that I would request about that when you log in is that you're placed near your friends, that somehow, you know, you get grouped next to your friends,
Well,
And-
yeah, there will kind of be a problem if, like, I'm stuck in Australia where I am now, and you're in America.
Uh-huh.
Kind of hard to kind of get to you.
Because we won't have the technology like we have right now called Skype and the internet. Yeah. So, that would be a definite issue. And so these are logistics that they're going to have to figure out that take some of the total sandbox element out of it, but that are needed for a little bit of structure and everything. So, yep.
I think that's it.
Okay, so it's Sly Jesse is your channel, right? YouTube?
Yeah, Sly Jesse, YouTube. Look me up.
Yeah, and it's
my calendar on side.
JESSE.
Yes.
And so, go check out his channel. He's been doing some more Z stuff. And are you up for playing tomorrow? I hope to get some playtime in
love
tomorrow.
to. So would I.
Yeah, well, you better get some sleep there, buddy. What time is it there right now?
It's 1 o'clock. I'm just about to have lunch.
In the afternoon. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here it's about 9 p.m. So I'm just about to have a nap.
Are we going to have lots of other people playing with us tomorrow?
I think it's going to be huge.
All right, well, you got to let everyone know where we're going to meet up because I don't really want to be waiting for everyone again.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to wait around. When we got a group of us, we're going to start going. So, but
Sounds good.
I'll message. I got my guys out to the starting spot. So, yep. Maybe I'll send out that message tonight.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jesse. I appreciate the call.
Catch you later.
Okay, take care. Okay. So Jesse's quite a character there, isn't he? He's definitely fun. I enjoy. He's called in a few times on the show, and I've done other videos with him, and really enjoy him. So, okay, I think that is going to be it for the night. So, I have got to go watch the Video Game Awards. I'm sorry, they've just started, and they're on Spike right now for those of you in the United States. And so I've got my next date is to go do that. And so thanks again for everybody who's still here. And do check out the Jerry's site that he's working on, helpivanmartin.org. There's a link in the description. And we do want to wish those guys the best. And it's unfortunate what's happened to them, and I hope that they can, they don't come out of that really traumatized, that they can use it as an experience for good, that they will have learned some really neat things in there, and that overall, even though they've been incarcerated for 3 months now, that maybe they can come out of there seeing it as a really positive experience, and they can share what they've learned in that positive attitude with everyone around them for the greater good. So that is my hope. Okay, everybody, thanks again, and until next Friday night, take care.
Like that.